First of all, I believe it's really important that we get rid of the council tax in Scotland. It's deeply unpopular and it penalises pensioners and the lowest paid the most. I think a fair system of local income tax based on ability to pay is something that the majority of people in Scotland would support, and more than 70% of households would be better off under our scheme of local income tax.
But you'd also know that the local authorities, according to the Burke Commission, according to the IFS, according to all sorts of experts, that 3.5 to 3.75 pence in the pound wouldn't meet the current spending of local government. So you don't be able to do it if you're shelling out money to them in other ways through a direct grant or something else.
Well, we can match the £2.15 billion that the council tax currently raises, and we've costed that and explained that today. But I understand your point, and I agree with your point. And if we had cooperation from a Westminster government, you could introduce a local income tax scheme that significantly reduced the national level of income tax. Our current 20p rate would come down, and you could have a rebalancing of the tax system, because you get cooperation from the Treasury, and you could reduce the income tax level that we currently pay to the Treasury. And that's for a long time been the Liberal Democrat policy, and that's what lies behind that statement, that we believe that more funding should be raised by the local authority. At the moment, the local authority relies on a very, very substantial grant that comes from central government.
But it's going to be even more substantial under your plans.
What we've done is to look very carefully at what is achievable and what is deliverable with the current powers of the Scottish Parliament. And we believe this local income tax scheme is fairer, it gets rid of the council tax, and it allows for local discretion, which is our criticism, you're right, of the SNP scheme. They used to criticise Tommy Sheridan for his national income tax to fund local councils, and they then came out with a national scheme themselves. So allowing some level of discretion, I think, is important.
But it's tiny discretion.
Well, I'm about to visit Greenock and Inverclyde, and the Liberal Democrat-controlled council there has just brought down its level of council tax. Now, there would be no incentive to save, to be more prudent, if you didn't have any discretion over the level of local taxation. And I want to encourage local councils to have that responsibility.
You said 70% of households would benefit under your plans. Just yesterday, the latest social trends figures came out for the whole of the UK. And among other things, they show that because of the price of getting into the housing ladder, something like 60% of young men and 40% of young women between the ages of 20 and 24 are still staying at home. There's probably another group beyond 24 who are also still staying at home because the late nester phenomenon is becoming quite common. Are you absolutely sure that 70% of households are going to benefit if you transfer the burden of council tax onto local income tax, or essentially onto income tax? When a lot of these 20 to 24-year-olds will be paying income tax, but won't be paying council tax at the moment. You're going to have households with 2 adults who are earning, 2 kids in their 20s to 24, or maybe even a little bit older than that, all paying their income tax contribution against a household that paid 1 council tax. Are you absolutely convinced?
We are, because
that 70% of households are going to be better off?
In those same national statistics, you see the level of income in this country, in Scotland, and the average household income, not individual income, but the average household income is £30,000 a year. There are 2.2 million households in Scotland, and those 70% would benefit as a result of the introduction of local income tax.
It's a big challenge if you're wrong in the numbers.
Well, the numbers are there to be scrutinised, and I'm sure you will do exactly that.
I saw your Sunday press release. It's 3 pages. I mean, it doesn't go into an awful lot of detail.
It was a press release.
Have you got a document as well?
We've since then published a document.
I'd like to see the document. Okay, happily
ensure that you get a copy of it. I'm sure there will be a lot more very detailed scrutiny, and we welcome that, because we have had this policy as a party for many years now. We do believe it's an issue of fairness, that local taxation should be based on ability to pay, and over 500,000 pensioners will benefit from this, because local income tax would be fair to them. Council tax is not. It really does penalise so many pensioners in Scotland.